Hey, what's going on, everybody? Andrew here, back for our build review show. It is Friday, October 11th of 2024, and on this show, I bring users' builds up live on stream, giving them personalized feedback and advice about things that I think they can do differently in their builds to ultimately help them build stronger lineups, have a better post-contest sim ROIs. So we do this show Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern. If you ever want to get signed up for a show, drop your DK username in the office hours channel in our Discord server. Let me know what sport and slate you want me to review, and I will add you to the list for our next show. But with that said, we do have a couple of folks signed up today, and we're going to be starting off with some Thursday night football showdown review. So the first person up is going to be Aoteo. So let's get SaberSim up and let's start reviewing some builds. So I have their build loaded up here. We're going to start in the contest tab as always. All right. So what do we see here? So we see good contest selection, right? Pretty steady balance of single entry and 3 max versus 20 max, 150 max. A lot of satellites as well. I think that's fine. These are all the lower dollar satellites getting access to some of like the milli makers and things like that. So I think that these are all fine things to play. All right. So from here, let's sort by entries and let's take one of the top contests here and we will study those. So why don't we go with the first down as our proxy contest for today? And let's give this a second to load. All right. Lineups are loaded. Let's go over here to the right. And let's open up the users section. All right. Aoteo here. 20 lineups. Sort by sim ROI. So good news. Positive sim ROI, right? 15%. Top sim ROI somewhere in like the 30 to 40 range is what I'm seeing here. So doing pretty good, but some room for improvement, right? Now, one thing that stands out to me is that they have a really good sim average score, pretty in line with a lot of the other top users. The bad thing I'm noticing is that their average dupes is high relative to their projection, right? So, for instance, what we can do here is we notice that, so you got to think about this like balance between duplication and sim average score. So if we go and look at somebody else with a similar sim average score, what are their dupes like? So Aoteo 90.48 sim average score. We see a user here 90.34, so slightly less, right? But they have 26 average dupes. Aoteo has 63. Now let's go find somebody with a similar average dupes. And that would be probably Babs here, Babs 67 with 67 average dupes, but their sim average score is 92.77. So there's kind of this trade-off. It's like, hey, you can play lower sim average score lineups if they're more unique. If you want to play more a more duplicated set of lineups, then your sim average score needs to be higher. So there's a balance there, right? So it's not to say 90 sim average score is bad. It's not to say average dupes of 63 is bad, but they're not the best together, right? So that is that balance that you are trying to strike in when building showdown lineups. So we kind of understand what we need to do. Now let's just go into a build and figure out, the different things that we can do to get to this point. So we looked at the $1.20 max. That looks like it was filled from the GPP build. So why don't we go over there and look at what the GPP build looks like? All right, pulling it up now. All right, so why don't we put these lineups back where we found them? And then let's reopen my lineups. So, what are we seeing in this build? So, it looks like they've turned minimum salary down to 0. I think that's fine. No filters, no rules. They do have a lineup filter, which says show lineups with ROI greater than 0. I think that's good. Sorting by ROI. Couple minimax exposures, not too many. 2 in the captain. A minimum exposure to at least match ownership on Kenneth Walker. And then a maximum exposure to Jordan Mason to match ownership. I think this is fine. Basically, what this user is saying here by doing this is that, hey, I don't want Kenneth Walker to beat me. I at least want to have as many shares of this player as the field does. And then on the other side is that I don't want to lose with Jordan Mason, and I'd rather just match the field here and find leverage somewhere else. So I think that this approach is totally cool. Let's go over to flex. Looks like they just made the minimum required changes to projections. No min-max exposures in the flex. No stack exposure adjustments. No team stack adjustments. All right, so it looks like this user basically came in here and said, hey, I'm going to drop min salary to 0. I'm going to run the build. I'm going to run my contest sim. I'm going to sort for lineups greater than with ROI greater than 0, and I'm done, right? That is a pretty lean process, right? So I have to imagine that does not take very much time, maybe like 5 to 10 minutes, which is good, right? To grade out as a positive sim ROI player, putting minimal amounts of time into doing this, like they probably spent more time entering contests than and you know separating these builds out than actually like running this build and like entering the lineups. So that's where it's good, right? Nice lean process. Now we just need to add a couple things here to basically shore that up and make some incremental adjustments. So 2 things that I would recommend here, because we want to get more unique, but we don't want our sim average score to suffer, right? So I would be doing 2 things. Number 1 is I would be adding a geometric mean custom metric in here to your lineups. So come in here and say my own geo mean value. You want to calculate the value of each lineup. So when you click save, that is going to get added as a my metric, which you could just rename it to geo mean. And then that will start to populate underneath each lineup. And then you'll have that summary stat that you can go in and filter for. So then now I would be adding in some type of geomean filter. You can either do the formula, or you can just come in here and filter out the bottom 10 to 20% of geomean lineups, right? That's going to help your duplication. And then if you don't know what the formula is, let me drop this video from our support docs for you, which will walk you through it. Let me put that in Discord as well, so that can help you out. All right. Just sent that on over in Discord. Perfect. And then to counterbalance this, right, to make sure that we don't sacrifice a bunch of projection for geomean, is come in here and then add another filter for projection, right? So then come in here, do projected score greater than X, and then you're basically going to just try and filter out the bottom like 10 to 20% of projected score lineups. So you have like an effect. So like we did this recently, and the geo mean basically dropped somebody's average projection like 3 points. But then we came in and added the projection filter, and that raised the projection back up 1.5 points. So it basically, the effect that the geo mean had on average projection was like cut in half because we were filtering out the bottom projected lineup. So that was that's exactly the effect that you're looking for here. So try and work on balancing those things out, and I think that's going to help you out a bunch. But I think that your contest selection is good. You're already on the right path with your sim ROIs. Dropping dupes, maintaining sim average score is going to be your next goal here, and these are 2 ways to do that. All right, good stuff there. And we are going to be moving on to our next person here, which is going to be JB. So let me get JB up on the screen. And we will get rocking and rolling here. All right. Almost there. All right, so let's get this up on the screen. Looks like JB has not taken my advice yet of switching from playing one lineup to playing multiple lineups. So that is all right as a personal choice. But just remember, right, 21% cash rate. That means you're going to cash like 1 in 5 times. So, if you're playing, if you're playing Monday, Thursday, Sunday, Monday, Thursday. So in a 2-week span, you could expect to cash 1 time. So just be aware of that. All right. So now let's go into this lineup, see what kind of lineup we played. Let's go over to users. All right. So good news here, right? So last time we studied JB, they put one lineup in and it was like negative 35% sim ROI. This lineup is positive 28% sim ROI. So that's a good thing, right? When we've now moved from playing a lineup that was at least negative sim ROI to positive. So first things first, that's great. Now, second thing here is it is positive 28% sim ROI, but there is a lot of room for improvement here. This varies a ton here. I would say if you can get into like the 200 to 300% sim ROI range, that this lineup would be very, very good. So let's figure out how you can do that. I think it's going to come down to uniqueness. You see a lot of these other top lineups, 4 average dupes, 0 dupes, 0 dupes, 0 dupes, 5 dupes, 0 dupes, 0 dupes, 0 dupes, 0 dupes, 7 dupes. But so your sim average score is a little bit higher, but your average dupes is 23, right? So 23 other people played this lineup. So if you take these average dupes away while maintaining your sim average score in the range that it's in, your sim ROI would probably be very, very high where these other users find themselves. So let's go into your build and see what it looks like. Looks like you filled this lineup from build 3. So that's where we will spend our time. All right. So first things first, 0 min salary, have lowered max salary down to 49.5. So just using salary first and foremost to get unique. That is definitely one way to do it. No filters, no rules, no lineup filters, using single game saber score. Pretty opinionated about what captains they want to allow, which I think is fine. These are the top like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They took like 7 out of the 8 top projected players and said, I want to use these players as captain. I think that's fine to curate your pool, especially using one player or especially playing one lineup. A little player pool curation here, just like 2 guys that they didn't want to play. I think that's fine. No other minimum exposures that I see. So this is okay. I don't have any problems with this. All right. So as far as the lineup goes, So it seems fine. I would say that, since your average dupes is 23 and you're on the starter plan, what I would do is I would set a rule for geomean. So I would come in here and I would add a new rule. So now we can calculate what a good geomean is for you, because we're going to have to set this as a rule. So then what I would do is I would, figure out what amount of money from the first place prize that you're comfortable with, right? Like, let's say that, first is like 500K. Well, maybe you're okay with like 5,000, right? So then that would be 100 dupes. So then you do like 100 divided by 117,000 to the power of 1 divided by 6, and then 30.8, right? And then you would come into here and you would say show lineups with geomean no more than 30.8, and then you would save that, and then you would rebuild your lineups, or you would build your lineups for the first time. So use this geometric mean, and I think that this is going to be the first step to getting better there. So we want to lower those average dupes, but good news is you are positive. Reconsider the contest selection, but that is obviously up to you. And I don't want to beat a dead horse there. All right, good stuff. Going to be moving on to our next person, Warlock, and we're going to be studying some NHL from yesterday. So it's our second time studying NHL. So let's get Warlock up on the screen. And then let's hop over to Thursday's NHL main slate. I'm not seeing any builds for this user. Which is not ideal. Let me check something. I see. Okay, so Warlock came from RPS. I didn't notice that at first, so I have to work a little bit. I have to do something a little bit different to review the RPS users. So Warlock, if you're here, I'm not going to be able to do your review. I will ping you in the Discord, and we will get you added to the next show on Monday, and I just got to get some additional information from you to be able to do that review. So my apologies there, but that was our last person here at the moment. So appreciate you guys tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed these reviews. If you ever want to get signed up for a show, drop your DK username in the Office Hours channel in Discord. Let me know the sport and slate you want me to review, and I will add you to the next show. But I will be back 12:30 p.m. Eastern tomorrow for Office Hours on Saturday. And so until then, everybody, take care. Good luck. Thanks. Bye.